Alexa TV presents in 3, 2, 1. Dateline Schools with your host, Terry Harrington.
Spring is just around the corner, so we're talking about kindergarten roundup all this week on Dateline Schools, and tell us all about it from Washington Elementary School in Marysville. Special guest this week in Dateline Schools is the principal, Jennie Leishman. And yesterday, Jennie gave us a pretty good overview. For your kindergarten roundup there in Marysville, is that one-on-one or is it more group setting? How does that work for your district?
Well, we have 3 opportunities, Terry. The evening event is mainly for parents. We encourage the children to stay at home, and we talk to our parents about what the day will look like for a child. But then sometime in May, usually in Marysville at all 3 of our elementaries, we invite the child back to do some assessing, which is about 15 to 20 minutes. And then at a later time, we invite small groups of kids, 10 to 15 at a time, to come in for what we call boot camp. They'll get a snack. They do recess, they get a tour of our school, and then they also will do some academic and coloring activities that would be part of the kindergarten day.
And my guess says this is also the first time these kids get to meet some of these other kids, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. For some kids, this is the first time they've been around other children, because some don't have that opportunity for daycare. So it gives those children an opportunity of what a snapshot of a full day of kindergarten really looks like.
Do you find the reactions a little bit different for kids who may be the first one in their family to go versus, I'm the third or fourth sibling to come along?
Yeah, you can tell those parents, I remember back to my day, probably the same as you. Those first-time parents are very apprehensive about letting their child come into our care for the day, but and those children also tend to seem a little apprehensive about how to play and things. But you know what? That boot camp really helps take that edge off for when September comes.
Great. Now, also, too, I know in most of our buildings we have the Great Start Readiness Program for those 4-year-olds who will be going to kindergarten next fall. How does that work with them, too?
We have 2 sessions of Great Start Readiness in our district right now. They're both housed at Morton School, but with those children, if they're at Great Start Readiness, that's a great opportunity. They're already prepared. It's usually within our building, so they know the routines and the lay of the environment. But again, we still encourage those families to come and hear what kindergarten is going to look like for their child.
Do you find those kids coming out of the Great Start program seem to be a little more ready than the other students?
We do find that. We find that they can sit and attend. And again, like I said, they know some of those routines throughout the day of how we walk in a hallway. So we do see some nice changes with that Great Start Readiness program.
We'll be back with more tomorrow. For Dateline Schools, I'm Terry Harrington.